episode of the Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh is sponsored by the Brodo Rockstar Group at eXp Realty. The home buying process is stressful, especially when it's your first time. The Brodo Rockstar Group is committed to giving you a stress-free experience while guiding you through the process from getting approved for a loan to getting the keys on closing day. Let their team treat you like a rock star. To book an appointment or to search all available properties in the State Line area, visit buywithbroda.com.
Good
morning, boys.
Afternoon,
What's
State Line
happening,
area.
guys?
Afternoon, State Line area.
Good afternoon, State Line area. John Broda here again with my two cohorts, my partners in crime, Josh Cooper and George Poscavich. How you guys doing this week?
Oh, hanging in there. It was a long weekend, so recovering.
Okay.
Recovering, yes. You just came back from your trip from Buffalo, right?
I did.
So I heard a little bird in law enforcement told me you had a little run-in with the cops.
I did. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna give myself.
We gotta hear this story.
So
Yes.
we drove last Thursday. We left at 1:30 a.m. and drove all the way to Pittsburgh. Got there at 11 with a time change. Went to the game, the Pirates Cubs game. That stadium was beautiful. I think we talked a little bit about it last week on the episode. But there was one thing that really irked me. I was really upset. So the staple in Pittsburgh is the yellow like bridges in the outfield, right? They were covered. Completely covered. They are getting repainted, and it's going to take over a year and a half to like sandblast them and repaint them.
Repaint the
all
steel.
that good stuff. Yeah, so I was pretty upset. Didn't get to see the yellow bridges, but the game was fun. The area down there in between PNC and Heinz Field is super cool. We went to a couple of restaurant bars, went to a cigar lounge that had hundreds of cigars. It's called Burn. It was super cool. And then the next morning we got up, driving to upstate New York. The Rochester area is where the wedding was, but we were heading to Niagara Falls first just to see it. Because I feel like if you're in the area, you might as well just take the time, drive it, just go see the Niagara Falls. It was really cool. But I was speeding. In Pennsylvania, if you haven't been there, it's very woodsy. And they like to put these giant berms in the middle of the road between like the two sets going like north and south or east and west. And
Right, it's to block headlights at night so you're not getting blinded.
Right. Well, you can't see the cops.
No.
So I'm going over a hill, and I look to my left, and I see the gravel road, and it like veers off to the right. And I'm like, oh, no cops. So I just keep going, and I see to my left gravel going backwards. And in my head, I just go, darn it. I look up in my rearview mirror, cop.
Cherries and berries right behind you.
I'm like, oh, geez. So I like slowed down, and got down a ways, got in the right lane, and he never came. Never came. And then out of nowhere behind me, like, I'm going to say maybe 5 miles down the road. Right? Like, he didn't come instantly. Pulls me over. We're talking, asking us, where you going? What you doing? The typical cop questions. He goes, clocked you 88 and a 70. But he goes, I have to give you a ticket. In Pennsylvania, they have the chest cams, so everything was recorded.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's why they can't just give out warnings anymore, because everything's recorded. So he goes back, and he comes back. He goes, I'm going to cut your break. I'm not here to ruin your day or ruin your life. You were going 18 over, but I'm going to give you a left lane violation. Like, what is that? Like, we don't have that here in Illinois. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I drove in the left lane from Rockford to Pittsburgh yesterday. Didn't even leave the left lane. So I did some research. In the state of Pennsylvania, you cannot drive in the left lane longer than 3 miles. Hence why he didn't get me for 5 miles down the road, because I was just cruising in the left lane, right? I got over, right? Gosh. Once I kind of saw him coming up behind me, I got over, right? And so it was a $150 ticket. He said the 18 over would have been around the 480 mark. And he goes, there's no points against you. It doesn't go on your record. You got to pay within 10 days, and you're good to go. So shout out to officer in Pennsylvania. Cut me a break. But the funny part, right? This is the funny part is I said, hey, we're going upstate New York to the Buffalo-ish area for a wedding. We've never been there. What is there to do, right? Because they're only 3-ish hours apart. So like you guys, 3 hours apart, that's a nice little day trip or a little weekend getaway, right?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, he has to know something. He goes, honestly, you know what there is to do in Buffalo? I said, what? He goes, drugs. Lots of drugs. And he goes, whatever you do, don't go to Rochester. Even more drugs in Rochester. I just
That's
go,
hilarious.
well, the wedding's in Rochester. So then he let us go. It was just funny. And then he had his name on the bottom of the ticket. And I go, hey, to my buddy Dalton, I said, hey, should we call him and ask him where to get the drugs at?
Oh man. Now I apologize. I apologize to any of our listeners of the podcast. We have a lot of Rochester transplants in the state line area, upstate New York transplants in the state line area, because they all came out here about 10, 15 years ago to work at Chrysler. So we apologize. We're not saying it's all drugs. We're saying a cop in Pennsylvania said there's nothing but drugs. So it's not us, it's the cops in Pennsylvania. All right,
but,
just for full disclosure.
Have you guys been to Niagara Falls before?
No,
never.
Very easy drive.
I never drove any further north than the Catskill Mountains from New York City because everything else isn't worth going to.
So, John, I think you and Venice would really appreciate it. So once we got into New York, like out of Erie, Pennsylvania, and New York, both sides of the roads from Erie, Pennsylvania, all the way up to Buffalo, vineyards.
Really?
That's all it is. On both sides. There's no corn. You don't see corn growing. You don't see soybean. You don't see anything. It's nothing but miles and miles and miles of vineyards. And the drive is super easy. Like here in Rockford, you hop on 90 and you don't leave 90. You literally take 90 all the way up to Buffalo and to Niagara.
Nice.
So I thought of you guys. I'm like, dude, if I had time and we were on like a time crunch, I would have definitely stopped and like checked out some wine for you. But if you guys are thinking of like a long weekend trip with your family, like a Wednesday, come back Monday thing, I would definitely consider going there. It was super cool. The Niagara Falls is actually in the town of Niagara, which I didn't know. I just thought it was in like the Buffalo area, but it's an actual town in Niagara. You go over a bridge and through like, I think it's called like Lost Island or something like that. And then they say you're now in Western New York, and you go over and it's literally like an island type thing. And you get off the bridge and you go, the town's not very big. You can see Canada right there.
Right.
Interesting.
Well, the falls are on both sides of the border.
Both sides. So the United States side is the top of the falls. The Canada side, you're looking like directly at the falls, right? Not down. But it's super cool. I mean, a lot of local shops, local bed and breakfasts, restaurants. And I guess the Buffalo area is known for their buffalo wings. That's kind of how the name came about. So we went to this little place in Niagara and had, I mean, incredible chicken wings. I mean, they were big, they were thick, had a lot of meat on them. It was super cool. And if I ever get another opportunity, I would definitely take my family. Like, it's one of those things where like, dude, that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
And there's a lot of stops on the way. Like obviously you can stop in Sandusky and go to Cedar Point. You can stop in Erie, Pennsylvania, and you can look at the, Lake Erie and have lunch and stuff on the lake. And it's a different coast that you're not used to seeing. It's a lake coast, not a ocean coast. But super cool. I mean, when I say vineyards everywhere, I mean miles and miles and miles of vineyards.
That's really cool.
So, and it's like a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
we filled up we filled up our car 4 times the whole trip. So we got from Rockford to Sandusky filled up, Sandusky to Pittsburgh to Buffalo filled up, Buffalo to Rochester, around Rochester, and back to Sandusky. And then our last stop was Sandusky, back to Rockford.
Nice. Sounds like a blast.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So
I used
now
to
that
drive
makes
that way. Oh, sorry, go on.
no, that's fine. It makes this past week for me sound really friggin' boring. Because you were off on this big adventure, cops and robbers.
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, I'm super excited for next week to hear about your guys' trips. I know we kind of briefly touched on them last week, but George is going to the country of Europe. JB is going to
the country of Europe.
The continent of Europe.
Continent, sorry. Continent.
That's funny.
And JB is going to one of my favorite cities of all time, St. Louis. So
It's going to be an
I'm
interesting
excited.
trip. I can't wait. Got reservations to go to Landry Seafood House right there for the first night because it is jam-packed all the time. And I'm a big seafood guy, so we're trying that place first. But I'll give you guys a whole rundown on St. Louis, which is, I mean, nice city right in our backyard. It's only a 4.5-hour drive. But that's one of the great things about where we are in the state line anyway. I mean, from this location, and my friends back in New York City don't realize this, that from here, under an hour and a half, I'm downtown Chicago in the heart of everything. Within an hour and 15 minutes, I'm in the middle of Milwaukee. So that's 2 major cities within just over an hour's range. You shoot an hour north, you're in Madison. Madison not only is an unbelievable college town, but it's an unbelievable city in its own right. You go an hour and 30 minutes to the west, we're in Dubuque. I mean, that's 4 major areas right within less than 2-hour drive. We've got the Mississippi River. We've got great parks, great golf, great bowling, great. I said bowling for some. Why did I say bowl? I meant boating.
Bowling.
It's
Hey, I
bowling. I like bowling too, but everybody likes bowling.
So I went to college in Dubuque. Did you know back in the day, Al Capone, right? Dubuque was his hideout. Al Capone's hideout, because whenever he got into some tiff in the city of Chicago, he would haul over to Dubuque, and the Hotel Julian, which is one of the big famous hotels there, he had the entire top floor to himself, so he could watch out the window, because Dubuque, to get into Dubuque, you got to go over the bridge over the Mississippi, so he could see all the cops or whoever was coming to find him come over the bridge, and he was able to get away.
Well, I know there used to be a steakhouse years and years and years ago on 20 between Belvedere and Marengo called Shady Lane Steakhouse. And it was like this old supper club type steakhouse, and it had like these little cabin rooms as well. And that used to be a place where the mobsters would come when they were lambing it. They would come out of Chicago and they'd go there, and it was like their hangout. It was like being in one of their speakeasies, but in McHenry County.
Yep.
And that place unfortunately deteriorated over the years. I've been seeing that building since the mid 90s, and it was sometime in the last 10 years they finally just tore it all down because nobody would buy it.
Right.
It just disrepair, and it would cost more money to fix it up than it would do anything. But some amazing history about the old Chicago gangsters all over our state line area, hanging out in Rockford, doing all that kind of crazy stuff.
But then, JB, if you go 4.5 hours north, you run into Minneapolis, Twin Cities, and then 4.5 hours south, you got St. Louis. I mean,
right?
Yeah,
we're right in the heart of a mecca of major cities.
Yeah,
it's super cool.
And of course we live right in one of the best cities there is, the city of Rockford. I mean, this place did not know Rockford for anything when I moved here, except they made S-wing hammers here. Being an old union carpenter, when I first got into the trades, I was told you have to get an S-wing hammer. And that's what I've had. I still have the original hammer I had with the leather wrap on it, the leather wrap handle that they made right here in Rockford. On the bottom of it, it's like, Rockford, Illinois, where's that? Because I'm from New York City. So coming here, though, and seeing all the great stuff that Rockford has to offer. And in my 22 years, just living here is my new home, watching it just grow and change and just become better and better year after year, when so many other cities during the early 2000s, mid 2000s, early 2010s, they declined. Rockford kept growing through all of that. So I mean, that's a testament just to the people of this area. And I mean, everybody wants to move away, but we're getting a lot more people moving here because of everything this area has to offer. I just have two
The
great
cost
clients
of
of
living
mine.
is still so much more affordable,
Oh, it
especially
is so
in
affordable
a
here.
recession.
Yeah. And I mean, I
Yeah.
just had clients of mine move here from Texas. They moved from just outside of Dallas to this area. One, they love the houses, they love the schools, and they loved how we were close to so many things. And they like kayaking and camping and hiking, and they want to change the scenery, change the seasons. And that's something we have here. So I mean, that's
And we're
awesome.
fortunate. I think that Rockford's just a great. You hit the nail on the head on that one. Just a great center spot, and
Yep.
it's not. It's you've got pretty much within reach everything you ever want if you're a city kind of person, and without the craziness and the hustling and the traffic and all that comes with the big city. So that's exactly it. I think it's a pretty unique area, and I definitely see it for it, and that's why I'm here, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm planning on staying here. I love
Well,
the area. So
that's why you came back. You came to the area. I mean, you grew up in Chicago area,
yep,
and you came out
sure
here
did.
for work and after college, and you just loved it here. I mean, I I found it by accident. Met my wife at a trade show in Rosemont, moved to Illinois, wound up in Belvedere, then up into Roscoe. But like this whole region, and I call it a region. I don't just call it the city of Rockford, because we're so much more than just the city itself. I mean, because you have Belvedere right there in Poplar Grove, and you have Cherry Valley, and we have Roscoe, Rockton, South Beloit, McChesney Park, Loves Park, even moving into like Winnebago, Pecatonica, like that whole region right there down to Byron. Um, you know, it's just an amazing place. I love it. I love how the river. I mean, depending on where you let in, you get a totally different view of the river. I know there's dams
Mhm.
and like there's dams all the way down, so you can't like take your boat from Roscoe right here and go all the way down the river, unless you want to go over the falls. But but it's one of those things, like you put in, there's just totally different scenery, totally different things to do. If you like boating, right here on the Rock River is an awesome experience, even though it is shallow at spots. You got to know the river, you got to learn it.
Yep.
Don't just get in a boat and go. But I mean,
Tubing.
this
Could do.
tubing. Oh, that's something we're actually talking a lot about, my wife and I and my family, about tubing down the Sugar River.
I go every year.
So
I've never been, but I want to.
I think this is our summer to just spend a lazy day on a Saturday or a Sunday and just do it.
It is a blast. The problem though is the adult beverages.
Yes.
Because you get on the river, you go 3 miles, 3.5 miles. It takes 4 or 5 hours, and you don't realize how much you drank until you get back on land.
Because you're just floating the whole time.
Yes.
But the advantage to that, though, is I have a few younger drivers in the household that can be designated drivers. So we're in good shape there.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And worse comes to worse.
Let me know when you guys plan on doing it. Maybe I can get my family to leave the girls at home and get my family to tag along.
There you go.
We get all tied together, listen to music.
I'm looking forward to it.
I've never done it, so I'd be down.
I've never done it either, but my wife has done it with her company. I'm going to give a shout out to where she is. She works at Kids Spot, and they've done it multiple times as like a team building exercise where all the staff goes out and they spend the day, by bonding and having fun and just taking it easy, blowing off, especially with their summer camp program. They are so busy there with kids for summer camp. It is just, an amazing thing they have. I was actually getting my hair cut yesterday. CutThroat Corbins, just throwing a shout out, local barber shop. Anthony's my guy. And look, take off these headphones. He makes this look good, guys. I'm just saying. Anthony does a great job. Anthony does a great job. And I'm sitting there and a young kid comes in with his mom and one of the other barbers is cutting his hair. And he goes, so you got big plans today? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Kids Spot camp right after this. Like he's excited to go there. So I thought that was a cool thing. It's something nice we have going on right up here in the Roscoe area. A lot of the kids love it. And, shameless plug, my oldest son, Kyle, is one of the camp counselors there for the summer. So a lot of kids just love hanging out with them. So, but
they have a really cool thing coming up. I don't have all the details, but my kids signed up for it, which I think is awesome. Speaking of things to do in the summer, Erica Erica's Boards Creation up in Rockton, she has a summer camp that she created where it's like a day thing where you come to her place, kids sign up, and she does crafts and activities with the kids for the day and take the kids off the parents' hands. I think it's a pretty genius idea.
Oh, it's awesome.
And my kids are so excited for it. And so shameless plug on that one too for her. I mean,
you're going to get a nice little treat out of it. Cause I mean, that board, remember back when we first started this, we were showing our World's Greatest Dad mugs and all that stuff. And that board I have that said World's Greatest Dad, my daughter made that at one of those types of events at Erica's shop. So she was at like actually a girl's birthday party where they did those at her shop. So Erica does a lot of amazing things there.
Yeah, but I thought that was just a genius idea. Like everybody thinks the summer camp is sports and going off and playing in to do something creatively in an art camp. I think that's genius. Never would have thought of it. Hats off to her for coming up with the idea, and it's a hit. So if you haven't and you're in the area and you're looking for something for your kids to do and they don't want to be active, that is a great idea.
And we'll have in our description here at the bottom in the podcast. So remember, guys, if you're listening to us on any of the platforms or podcasts, please like, share, subscribe, and look at the comments section. I mean, because I'll have links to follow Erica's board creation. You'll be able to see what she does and get a contact to her and her business. You can follow Anthony on Instagram. We'll have a link to him. And then, of course, links to each of us if you need to get a hold of us for any of the great things that we help people with. That's all in there. Plus links to anything we speak about in the show. And that's on our YouTube channels. And it's also on the podcast, wherever you find them. So please, on YouTube, do all the YouTubey things and like, subscribe, and share, comment, follow, and do the same there on the podcast. So shameless plug out of the way. Now, I do have to throw this in there too. We're getting our butts kicked this week playing the Houston Astros, but my Mets.
Hey, I saw when I was in Rochester. When I was in Rochester, I went to the Red Wings game, and they were playing the Syracuse Mets.
The Syracuse Mets.
Cool. And there was a couple big leaguers that had some big league careers that were down with the Syracuse Mets and the Red Wings right now. So that was kind of cool. Have you guys seen that shortstop for Pittsburgh that just got called up?
I have not. No. But you saw him live. You were just there.
O'Neal Cruz. He is 6'7", playing shortstop.
He's doing shortstop and second base, right?
Yeah. Throws the ball 97 miles an hour across the diamond. He's the same size as Aaron Judge. Okay. And he's faster than Tariq Hill.
That's all right. I'm gonna have to watch him. That's
O'Neal Cruz. And he just got called. He's 23 years old. Just got called up a couple weeks ago.
Wonder if he sticks at shortstop, because I can't fathom.
He's phenomenal at shortstop.
Well, as big as he is, he's probably right-handed. That's why, right?
Yeah, he's right-handed. Yeah.
Because if he was a lefty, they'd be throwing him on first base with that reach.
Yeah, it was
6'7".
6'7", and he's faster than Tariq Hill.
That's just crazy.
There's like there's like little TikToks on Facebook or whatever, like the Facebook TikTok type things. There's like one that's like going viral that has like the stats and the side by sides comparison type thing. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
But talking about sports, though, I don't know. There's some big things happening in the Rockford area, sports related, actually.
Yes, there is.
There's a ton of stuff happening sports related in our area this week, especially with 4th of July weekend going on. And what is it? It's the 75th anniversary of the inception of the Rockford Peaches.
Yeah.
And most people outside of our area they only know of the Rockford Peaches, once again, from the movie A League of Their Own, which is getting a whole new life with Amazon bringing a new series. So they're going one step beyond the movie and putting out a full series of this women's league, which was put together while we were at war and all our men were off. And I hate to say it, I don't think the girls got enough credit back then for how awesome of athletes they were and their fight for equality in a sport they loved and getting the opportunity to play. So, but I know, Josh, you looked up a bunch of stuff. There's big things going on to celebrate the movie and the league this week, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit going on. I know the 30th anniversary of League of Their Own. They're doing it down there at where the original stadium site was. Actually, it's off of 15th Street and is it Seminary and 15th. Right there by Blackhawk. There's the White Eagle Club right there. They made a field 4, 5, 6 years ago. Yep. Redid the field out there, and they've done a couple things, but yeah, they are doing a big old event there this weekend, and from my understanding, a bunch of the cast members, I think, from the new TV show series might be coming.
I saw that in the Rockford Register Star posted something about that the actors were coming out for the premiere, because I believe the TV series premieres this weekend on Amazon.
Yeah.
So that'll definitely be something I'll be looking at when I get back from the trip to take a look at.
I mean, it's just pretty cool having something like that was so historic in our area.
For sure.
And in my eyes, who is a baseball fanatic, you guys know that, and someone that's been around the game for forever, I don't think, like you said, JB, I don't think they got the credit that they really deserved. Because baseball's a hard sport, and to just kind of pick it up, right, and do as well as they did in the league, and it just I wish it would have flourished into something a little bit bigger than what the couple seasons it did. It really thought after the first or second season, once all the men started coming back from the war. I think they played 2 or 3 seasons after that, but it just wasn't what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which stinks, though, because obviously women deserve to be recognized all over for anything they do, but it's just in a male-dominant sport, it's cool seeing women succeed, and I just wish I wish it would have caught on, further. Obviously, I have a son and 2 girls. John, you have a girl. George, you have the 2 girls. It'd just be cool if they are able to play baseball, right, and not be looked down on. And I think it'd be cool if there was women's leagues all over.
Right.
I definitely agree with that, because unfortunately, a lot of the women players they go through softball. They do amazing. I mean, some of those girls throw a softball just
like
as fast,
70 miles an hour from 40 feet.
I mean, I don't think I'd be able to hit that.
I think softball, they don't get the recognition that they deserve, because softball, seeing that ball coming 65, say 65 to 70, right, miles an hour from their hip, and you can't see it until the ball is released out of their hands from 40 feet, your reaction time is milliseconds.
Yeah.
And then there's really nothing for them afterwards. Right? Like there's professional softball, but I think it's so, poorly ran that they got to work 4 or 5 jobs just to be able to play softball in the summertime.
Right. They're just playing for fun. It's like a lot of the other leagues, and it is a shame that it's not more prevalent and more dominant a
Agree.
sport. Because I mean, there's some amazing athletes. It doesn't matter what gender they are. If you're good, you're good, and there should be a place for you to be able to run those talents. I know there's been talk for decades of some amazing women that tried to make the crossover, and Major League Baseball won't bring them in. National Football League will not bring them in. And I get some of it because of size and all, but if you're talented, you're talented. I've seen some women throw a spiral better than Tom Brady. I'm sorry to say. It's like,
I don't know. Have
That's
you
for
seen
sure.
those videos of him throwing to the football into that throw machine? That's hard to do.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you this: my wife throws a punch, I think, harder than Mike Tyson sometimes.
you would know. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's
what
just
else? So we got some sport events this weekend happening, but more importantly, 4th of July weekend. So you know what that means.
Oh, there's
Fireworks.
fireworks everywhere. You want to talk about that,
Fireworks.
JB?
right. Yeah, just give me a second here because I have actually a list of some amazing fireworks shows that are going on, and we've got a ton of them. I mean,
Dude,
we've got fireworks
outrageous.
going Saturday the 2nd, Sunday the 3rd, and Monday the 4th of July. We've got fireworks everywhere, and to get all the details on how to find the best places and locations and times for the fireworks, go to statelinekids.com. Just letting you know, it has all this information there. But I mean, we head down to our east, south, and a little west. I mean, the towns of Amboy, Rochelle, and Harvard, all really quick drives from where we are in the state line. July 2nd, Saturday, July 2nd, they all have fireworks going on. Then we got on the 3rd, one of my favorite shows of the year in Loves Park. They have the fireworks at Speedway. And I mean,
those are great.
and I could actually see those fireworks from my house in Roscoe if I get on my roof. So that's the funniest thing about them, because Speedway is not that far away from where I am. We also have fireworks going on though down in Davis Junction, out west in Winnebago, up in Edgerton, Wisconsin, down in Dixon, Illinois, and over in Crystal Lake. So and
Jeez.
Crystal Lake's fireworks are amazing because it's all out on the lake, and it's just gorgeous out there. Then we've got on the 4th of July, which is when I get why a lot of communities do fireworks on different. We just lost our buddy Josh. I get why we have a lot of fireworks on other days than the 4th of July, but for me, the 4th is the day. I mean, it's kind of like how I feel about Halloween. You go trick or treating on Halloween, you do Christmas on Christmas. We don't do it other days. So 4th of July, City of Beloit, they have their fireworks. City of Rockford has their fireworks. And I'm not sure if it's too late, but I know the Embassy Suites downtown Rockford, they have that deck up on the roof.
Oh, that's right.
It is only open on 4th of July for people staying at the hotel. But when I checked into it about a week ago, before I decided to book the St. Louis trip, I was looking to maybe book a night or two downtown for the fireworks. So it's a great opportunity now. If you book a room at the Embassy Suites, you get access to the rooftop party deck for the fireworks. So
I think when I'm in London, I'm gonna walk around on the 3rd and I'm gonna just ask random people, hey, do you know when they're doing the 4th of July fireworks?
are you going to say happy 4th of July to people or happy Treason Day?
Happy Treason Day. That's funny.
So now to continue the list here, though, we said Beloit, we said Rockford on the 4th, but we got Milton, Wisconsin. Love Milton. Great little town. Cherry Valley has their fireworks. That's where me and the wife and kids used to go when they were small. I'd bring my pickup truck down there. They have it all at that big park down off the Kishwaukee River. Kirkland has their fireworks. Sharon, Wisconsin, Woodstock, and Durand. So that's all the fireworks that I have sitting here. Again, go to statelinekids.com. You can find out more information on the fireworks. I mean, and check it out. But now remember, everybody, be safe. I know a lot of people love to shoot off fireworks, but if you're leave it to the professionals. Last thing we want to see is somebody get hurt. You don't want to lose a hand. When I was growing up as a kid, we had a young man that lived up the street from me in Sunnyside, Queens, and he loved running out and hearing the fireworks and people throwing M80s. And one got thrown and it didn't go off. And he ran out and picked it up, and he lost 4 of his 5 fingers. All right, because it was a delayed response.
Yep.
Don't go near them. Let the professionals do it. It's way easier to just get in the car, go drive, see some of these fireworks, and make it a nice, safe.
Enjoy your.
So we go to the same place every year, and we love it. We go to Rockford Country Club. So we park right there next to the big, like net. You know what I'm talking about? Rockford Country Club.
Yeah.
We park down the street. We go across the street. We bring lawn chairs and blankets, and they light it off right there. It's an awesome show. It's easy in, easy out. We've gone there for the last 5 years, and it's just awesome. It's a whole lot of fun. Kids love it.
No, and it's great. And if, like I said before, if you have a boat, go down the Rock River, you can watch the fireworks from down there. If you get there early enough, make a day of it. You can hang out at Prairie Street Brewery, eat, drink, get a table, and be there for fireworks. You know, I mean, it's right there. And of course, all the bridges, overpasses, downtown. I mean, it's a great place to watch fireworks from. But again, depending on where you are, you can watch fireworks from your rooftop. You know,
my mom lives across the street from the Speedway. So growing up, we would just go sit up on top of the roof and watch all of them.
Yeah.
We used to go down there a couple of times to Davis Park and watch. Yeah, we used to go down and see the ones downtown. But you know, I'm often out of town this weekend. It's a good weekend to get away as well and travel. So
nope, I agree with that.
Sure.
It's a nice long weekend to get away, recharge, refresh the batteries, and go from there. It's a slow week for a lot of stuff, but there's 4th of July activities going on everywhere. I would say we're not doing a very good job this week, giving you a bunch more than the fireworks, but I mean, it's a slow news week. We're celebrating our America's birthday, and we could all use that a little bit right now. Not a political show, but you know, we did have elections this week. I hope people went out and voted. That's all I have to say about that. You need to vote in order to, especially local things going on. That's what affects our town, our state line. So get to know your local politicians, whoever they are, whichever side of the fence they're on. Get to know them, let them know what's going on with our community, what we want to see for our community, how we could better our community. We've had some great people in leadership positions over the last decade or so, and that's why our region is doing as well as it is. So I'd say just get out there and get active. That's my soapbox rant. George, I want you to have a safe flight this week. I can't wait to hear all about London. I miss London. I have not been to London since 1994.
This
so
is
I'm sure a lot's changed.
On Friday, we will be sitting at, I think, some kind of a walking tour. We're doing a walking tour on Friday. Nice. Thursday, we have the Ed Sheeran concert Thursday. Walking tour Friday. Saturday, nope. Walking tour Saturday. Oh yeah, Saturday's Pride. That's right. The Pride Parade is right there, right walking through where we're staying.
All right.
At Hyde Park. So, and that is Ava Max is performing, and my girls love Ava Max, and she's going to be the headliner at the Pride Parade. So we may catch a glimpse of that. But then Sunday, we're going to the West End to see a theater, kind of like their version of Broadway in London. So I'm excited. We're going to see Frozen the musical and Sunday, and then we come back on Monday. So on the 4th, I'll be flying back to the States. So we'll get a little bit of 4th of July in. We land in New York at JFK, and we're staying overnight Monday at the JFK Hyatt Regency, which I guess is connected to the casino there.
Have you ever been in the air while fireworks are going off?
Yes.
Once.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
because you can look out your window and you just see them all. Well, they can be miles apart, and you just see.
That's
all.
exactly
It's
what we're going to see. We're going to be flying in on the 4th, the evening into New York City. I think that's going to be a pretty cool sight.
So you'll probably get depending on the time of night, an aerial view of the Macy's fireworks parade. I mean, it is I went there live and in person once. A friend of mine's mother, she worked for this high up guy, and he gave us tickets to sit in the mayor's grandstand. And Venice and I, we went downtown. We went into Manhattan, and we got there with my friend Brian and his wife Betsy. I think it was his girlfriend at the time, and we went down there, and it's 3 displays at once. Like you see Rockford, it's like the one going. This is 3 at once, all synchronized with barges in the East River. Growing up in Sunnyside, Queens, we used to walk up to a place called the Spiral. It was a walkway overpass from our neighborhood that would allow you to cross over the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. And right from the top of that spiral, you could watch the fireworks display. So to get there and be right there on the East River, looking up at it, it was amazing. If you ever get a chance to go to New York for the fireworks, I highly recommend it. But give yourself about 5 hours after it's over to get back to wherever you're staying.
So
you got a million people right there you're trying to get through to get out of there.
They do the same thing. Nashville, Tennessee. My aunt lives down there. So when I was a kid growing up, we would go down there for the 4th of July, and they stop everything in downtown, right, and have this giant 4th of July party where they block off streets and all this. And they have a free concert that goes all day long. And so we actually saw Taylor Swift before she got big, sing her song Tim McGraw. That how long ago that was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen an exuberant amount of bands, but at the end they have this live orchestra, and they have the fireworks synchronized to the live orchestra that is playing while they show. And it's, I think, like at the time, I don't know about now, it's like the 3rd or 4th largest firework display in the whole United States.
Wow.
Insane. Our like finale, right, was like their like normal firework. It's crazy. So it's cool. If you guys ever get a chance, go down there for the 4th of July. It's a lot of fun.
Well,
I've seen Disney fireworks for the 4th too, and they're pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, I would expect Disney to have beautiful fireworks all the time.
Yeah,
I think, wasn't it Chicago? The Chicago fireworks on the river there. Don't they simulcast the fireworks with the 1812 overture on one of the radio stations? So you can listen to the 1812 overture while it's going off. I believe that's a big thing in Chicago. I don't know for certain, but you know, if nobody writes in the comments and tells me I'm wrong, then I'm right. That's what they do.
Oh, there we go. No fact checking.
No fact checking allowed on this show. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody again for listening to the Repping the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh. Again, do all your subscriber things, your YouTube things and podcast things. Like, subscribe, share, comment, give us good reviews. And again, if you have an event coming up in the area and you want to share it, either get a hold of us or post it in the Repping the State Line page on Facebook. Would love for you to come check that out as well. And let's do a count on Repping the State Line group in Facebook. We're still at the 949 mark, guys. We're not doing a very good job here. We had 950 and somebody unsubscribed. So I don't know why, but it happened.
John, you gotta stay in the group.
But real quick, we did a few fact checks about our show, right before this. Shout out to everyone. There's a solid 15 people that loyally listen to us regularly.
Thank you.
Every week. Thank you. Thank you. That is awesome. But there's a very interesting fact, and I'm going to let John talk about it, that was kind of mind-boggling to us.
So we we have 15 people on our normal podcast channel that listen like religiously every week, and we appreciate you guys. But we've had 45 people listen to us on Amazon Echo. Like they go to the Alexa and they go, Alexa, play Rep in the State Line. And I saw this, I was going through all the stats because from the platform we put our podcast on, we can actually look up each of the platforms it goes to automatically, and Amazon Music is one of them. And I tell people all the time, we're on Amazon Music, we're on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts. It's not iTunes, it's Apple Podcasts now. Show my age, but I mean, we're on those things. We're on Buzzsprout, we're on Google Music, which nothing's happening over there, but people are finding us on Amazon Alexa and they're liking the show. We've had 45 airs of our show on there, and we've only had, this is our 9th episode, so that makes me feel pretty good. We're getting out there. If you like what you're hearing, let us know. If you want to be, you got something big coming on, you want to be a guest on the podcast, let us know. And like always, just reach out and tell us what you like, what you don't like. We're here for you guys. We're here to rep the state line. Yep. We can't represent the state line if the state line people and the state line businesses don't give us some feedback on what they like and don't like about what we're showing. But I mean, I love it. I'm so glad we came back to this format. I mean, we're halfway through season 1, almost. And then we'll have our little in-between season break. But guys, keep liking, sharing, and spreading the word. We really appreciate each and every one of you that is listening to us, and the few people that have heard and have given us feedback, if not online, actually personally, while talking to people out and about.
Yep.
So
thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. We got some fun things we'll share from our travels and our adventures, and then we'll regroup and see what we've got going on into the deep of summer here in the state line.
I believe if not next week, the week after, we have another sitting and sipping episode. It's the week after we have another sitting and sipping episode. And I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be tequila and tacos.
Yep, tequila and tacos.
Tequila and tacos. So thank you everyone for listening. George, you and your family have a safe flight. Josh, I will see you around town. And St. Louis, here I come.
See you next week.
See you guys.
Thanks, everyone.